What if everything we think we know about human history is only half the story? What if the past isn't silent, just misunderstood? Across the world, strange objects have been pulled from the ground, tools buried where humans shouldn't exist, machines discovered centuries before their time, maps showing lands no one was supposed to know. These aren't myths. They're real artifacts, real discoveries, and real questions that refuse to go away. Because if even one of these objects doesn't belong in its timeline, then history isn't broken by accident. It's broken by design. And once you see the cracks, you can't unsee them.
In the stillness of the night, when the world seems to pause in quiet contemplation, we find ourselves drawn to the artifacts of the past, objects that carry with them the weight of time, mystery, and history. They are silent witnesses to a world that has long since vanished, yet their presence lingers like a soft whisper from another age. These ancient relics, some of them simple in form, others more intricate, all possess a peculiar power. They invite us to ask questions, to seek answers, yet often leave us more perplexed than before. What were they for? Who created them? And why do they persist in our memory, even when time has seemingly erased all traces of their origins? In the soft shadows of twilight, when the air is thick with the hum of history, we find ourselves pondering these questions. The world of the past is not as distant as it seems. Time, like a vast river, stretches endlessly before us, and in its depths lie treasures, physical and metaphorical, waiting to be discovered. But even as we look to the past, we are reminded that what we know is often only a fraction of the whole story. For every piece of history that we uncover, there are countless others hidden from view, buried beneath layers of earth, time, and forgotten memory. This is the paradox of history. It is both a vast repository of knowledge and an endless enigma, filled with gaps and mysteries that refuse to be solved. And it is in these gaps, in the spaces between what we know and what we do not, that the true allure of history lies. It is not in the easy answers or the neatly packaged narratives, but in the unanswered questions, the strange objects that defy explanation, and the ancient artifacts that refuse to be categorized. As we explore the world of strange ancient artifacts, we are invited into a realm where the boundaries between fact and mystery blur. These objects, whether they are tools, sculptures, or fragments of forgotten civilizations, hold within them the essence of human ingenuity, creativity, and curiosity. And yet, for all their beauty and precision, they challenge our understanding of the past. How could people from ancient times possess such knowledge and skill? How could they create things that seem so out of place, so advanced for their era? These are the questions that linger in the air, unanswered, waiting for us to find the courage to confront them. One such artifact is the famous London hammer, a seemingly ordinary tool encased in ancient rock. The hammer itself is simple, a wooden handle, a metal head, but its discovery is far from simple. It was found buried within a layer of rock that dates back millions of years, long before humans are believed to have existed. The implications of this discovery are profound. If the hammer is indeed millions of years old, what does that mean for our understanding of human history? How could such a tool, so clearly of human design, have been created at a time when humans were not yet supposed to be on Earth? This is the kind of mystery that captivates the imagination, the kind that keeps us awake at night, wondering about the hidden chapters of history that we have yet to uncover. The London hammer is just one example of the many strange artifacts that have been discovered over the years, objects that seem to belong to a time far beyond their actual creation. Each one of these artifacts raises more questions than answers, and each one seems to defy the logic of the historical timeline we have constructed for ourselves. But the hammer is just the beginning. There are many more objects scattered across the globe that challenge our understanding of the past. The Baghdad battery, for example, suggests that ancient civilizations may have had access to knowledge of electricity long before it was thought possible. The Antikythera mechanism, a complex and sophisticated device from ancient Greece, appears to be a type of analog computer, a marvel of engineering that was centuries ahead of its time. And the Voynich manuscript, a book written in an unknown script and containing bizarre illustrations, remains one of the most enigmatic texts ever discovered. These artifacts, each in their own way, seem to offer a glimpse into a world that was more advanced, more knowledgeable, and more mysterious than we have ever given it credit for. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of these strange objects, we begin to see a pattern emerge. These artifacts are not isolated anomalies. They are part of a larger puzzle, one that spans cultures, continents, and millennia. They point to a common thread running through human history, an innate curiosity, a desire to understand the world, to shape it, and to leave behind something that will endure long after we are gone. It is this desire that drives us to create, to innovate, and to explore the unknown, even when that exploration leads us into realms that seem beyond our comprehension. There is something deeply comforting about this idea, the notion that the past is not as far removed from us as we might think. In some ways, it is always present, always within reach, waiting to be rediscovered. The artifacts we uncover are like messages from another time, offering us glimpses of lives and worlds that once were. But they also remind us of how much we still do not know, of how much remains hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. As we embark on this journey through the strange and mysterious artifacts of the ancient world, we are not just seeking answers. We are also seeking something more intangible, something that speaks to the deepest parts of our human nature. We are seeking the mystery itself, the allure of the unknown that has always driven us forward, that has always pushed us to look beyond the horizon and reach for something greater than ourselves. The artifacts we explore are not just physical objects. They're symbols of our eternal curiosity, our unyielding desire to understand the world and our place within it. And so, we begin this journey not with the hope of finding definitive answers, but with the understanding that the questions themselves are just as important as the answers. The mysteries we uncover, the artifacts we examine, and the stories we tell along the way are all part of the larger tapestry of human history, a tapestry that is still being woven, thread by thread, in the quiet spaces between what we know and what we have yet to discover. In the end, it is not the artifacts themselves that hold the greatest power. It is the questions they raise, the mysteries they present, and the sense of wonder they inspire that leave a lasting impression on us. As we stand on the edge of time, gazing into the depths of history, we are reminded that the past is never truly gone. It is always with us, waiting to be rediscovered, one artifact at a time. The London hammer, a simple tool, one might think, yet its very existence invites a deeper questioning of time itself. A hammer, nothing more than a solid piece of wood with a metal head, seems like an object far too mundane to challenge our understanding of the ancient world. But when this small, unassuming tool was discovered in the 1930s, it was found encased in a rock formation that dated back to over 400 million years ago, long before humans were even supposed to have existed. This discovery, though simple in its form, was nothing short of extraordinary. How could a tool, so clearly crafted by human hands, have existed in such an ancient setting? The implications of this finding stretch far beyond the typical narratives we tell ourselves about history. As we stand in the shadows of this mystery, we are confronted with the uncomfortable realization that our understanding of the timeline of human civilization may be incomplete, if not entirely flawed. How could something so modern, so unmistakably human, be found so far outside the expected bounds of time? This small hammer, nothing more than a tool for everyday use, carries within it the unsettling possibility that we may have misjudged the true nature of our past. It's as though time itself has shifted, and the markers that we use to divide the ancient from the modern have become blurred. The hammer story begins in the quiet hills of London, Texas, where it was discovered by a couple of amateur explorers who were out searching for fossils. As they examined the rock formation, they noticed something peculiar. Embedded within the layers of rock was a tool, its wooden handle partially exposed. As they carefully removed it, they found a simple hammer with a metal head still intact, its design unmistakably human. The problem, of course, was that the rock surrounding it was carbon dated to be hundreds of millions of years old, far beyond the time when humans are believed to have first appeared on Earth. This paradox, an object that clearly belongs to human history, yet buried in a rock that dates back to an era when human beings were not supposed to have existed, sets the stage for a mystery that has baffled scientists, historians, and curious minds for decades. What makes this artifact so intriguing is not just the hammer itself, but the unsettling questions it raises. Could this tool really be that old? Or is there a flaw in the way we are interpreting the history of our planet? Could it be that our understanding of the development of human civilization has been built on assumptions that are no longer valid? Or is there some other explanation, something we have yet to fully comprehend? For many years, the hammer was dismissed by some as an anomaly, a fluke, a piece of evidence that could be easily explained away. Some suggested that the hammer was not as old as it seemed, that perhaps the surrounding rock had been misdated, or that the hammer had somehow been introduced into the formation at a later time. Skeptics pointed to the possibility of human intervention, suggesting that the hammer had been placed in the rock long after its creation. But the more we examine the hammer, the more we are faced with a challenge to this conventional thinking. Its metal head shows no signs of corrosion or decay that would be expected from such an ancient environment. And its design, too, is remarkably sophisticated for a tool from a time long before we believe humans had the ability to create such items. The hammer is not alone in its strangeness. Over the years, other similarly baffling artifacts have been discovered, objects that seem to defy the natural course of history and challenge our assumptions about what ancient cultures were capable of. Some of these objects, strange, ancient tools and artifacts, seem to come from periods far earlier than their apparent technological sophistication would suggest. And while these discoveries have often been met with skepticism and doubt, they also open the door to a far more intriguing possibility, that the timeline of human history is far more complex than we have ever imagined. What is perhaps most disconcerting about the London hammer, however, is not just its age, but the fact that it is not the only strange artifact of its kind. From the simplest tools to the most intricate machines, there are many ancient artifacts that have been discovered over the years, objects that seem to have been crafted by civilizations that existed long before they should have had the technological ability to do so. Some have been found embedded in rock formations, others buried deep in the earth, their origins and purposes still unknown. And yet, these artifacts, these seemingly out-of-place remnants, persist in our collective consciousness, raising questions that science has yet to fully answer. The London hammer raises the tantalizing possibility that the world of ancient civilizations is far older and far more complex than we have been taught to believe. If this tool existed in an era when human beings were not supposed to have even emerged, what does that mean for our understanding of ancient cultures? Could it be that there was once a civilization that existed long before the ones we are familiar with, one that left behind these mysterious objects as evidence of their advanced capabilities? Could it be that our own understanding of the rise and fall of human civilizations has been clouded by centuries of assumptions and biases? This mystery is not an isolated case. It is a part of a larger pattern of ancient artifacts that challenge our understanding of history. While we may never know the full truth behind the London hammer or the other strange artifacts that have been discovered over the years, they offer us a glimpse into a world that was far more complicated, far more mysterious than we have ever given it credit for. As we continue to uncover more of these strange objects, we are forced to confront the possibility that our understanding of the past is far from complete. We are standing at the edge of a great mystery, one that beckons us to look deeper, to question the narratives we have been taught, and to embrace the unknown. The London hammer, in its quiet existence, asks us to reconsider the boundaries of time and knowledge. It challenges us to look beyond the conventional explanations and to entertain the possibility that history, as we know it, may be only a fragment of a much larger, more intricate story. And as we ponder the mystery of the hammer, we are reminded of the greatest truth of all, that the more we discover, the more we realize how little we truly know. The Baghdad Battery, a simple clay jar, an iron rod, and a copper sheet, seems unremarkable at first glance. Yet, within its modest components lies a mystery that continues to puzzle scientists and historians alike. This ancient object, discovered in the 1930s near Baghdad, Iraq, has sparked an ongoing debate about the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations. While some believe it to be little more than a relic of early ritualistic practices, others insist that it could be an ancient form of galvanic cell. Essentially, an early version of the battery capable of producing electricity. The concept of electricity in our modern world seems like a fundamental part of life. We take it for granted, relying on it in nearly every aspect of our daily existence. But the idea that ancient civilizations could have harnessed electrical power is a concept that seems almost too advanced for a time when technology was still in its infancy. And yet, the Baghdad Battery presents an uncomfortable truth. What if we've underestimated the capabilities of ancient peoples? What if, thousands of years ago, people were experimenting with electricity long before the time of Benjamin Franklin, Nikola Tesla, or Thomas Edison? The Baghdad Battery consists of a small ceramic pot, roughly the size of a modern-day jar, with a copper cylinder and an iron rod inserted into it. The construction is simple but sophisticated, an iron rod placed in the center of a copper sheet, surrounded by an insulating layer of clay. When filled with an acidic solution, such as vinegar or wine, the jar produces an electric current, enough to shock the skin or possibly even electroplate objects, as some have theorized. The idea that such a simple arrangement of materials could produce an electric charge is both fascinating and unsettling, for it suggests that ancient civilizations may have had access to technologies that we've only come to understand in the last few centuries. The debate surrounding the Baghdad Battery centers on its purpose. Some argue that it was a tool for electroplating, a process in which a layer of metal is deposited onto an object using electrical current. Others believe it was used for medical purposes, perhaps as a form of early electrotherapy, a practice that has its roots in ancient Greece and Rome. Still, others suggest it was simply a container for storing scrolls or sacred items, with no functional use whatsoever. But the mystery remains. How could a civilization that lacked the understanding of modern electrical theory have crafted an object that appears to function as a battery? To understand the implications of the Baghdad Battery, we must first consider the history of electricity and how it was understood or misunderstood through the ages. The discovery of electricity, as we know, it was a gradual process that unfolded over centuries. The ancient Greeks were among the first to explore the phenomenon, though they did not fully understand it. The philosopher Thales of Miletus is often credited with discovering static electricity when he rubbed amber with fur and observed the attraction of small particles. However, the true understanding of electricity did not come until the 17th and 18th centuries, when scientists like William Gilbert, Alessandro Volta, and Michael Faraday began to lay the groundwork for the study of electrical currents. But what if ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we give them credit for? The discovery of the Baghdad Battery challenges our understanding of technological development. It forces us to reconsider the possibility that electricity was not only understood, but possibly even harnessed by ancient peoples. Could there have been a forgotten civilization that had access to knowledge far beyond what we now associate with antiquity? And if so, how did they lose this knowledge? How did it slip through the cracks of history? The implications of such a discovery extend beyond the realm of science and technology. If the Baghdad Battery is indeed an ancient form of electrical device, it suggests that our understanding of history may be far too narrow. It implies that there may have been periods of advanced technology, periods that have left little trace behind. Perhaps we have only seen the surface of what ancient cultures were capable of, and there is much more beneath the surface waiting to be rediscovered. Some have speculated that the technology behind the Baghdad Battery was a secret, passed down through generations but ultimately lost to time. Others believe that its purpose was not electrical at all, but rather symbolic or ceremonial, an object that served a spiritual or ritualistic function. Yet the simple fact that it could produce electricity, that it could, in some sense, work, challenges the conventional narratives of technological development. And it raises the question, if such devices were possible in antiquity, what else might have been lost or hidden from us? As we consider the Baghdad battery, we are reminded of the inherent limitations of our knowledge. The more we discover about the past, the more we realize how much we don't know. Each new artifact, each new discovery, seems to open up more questions than answers. The past, once thought to be a linear progression from primitive to advanced, is now revealed to be more complex, more nuanced. The ancient world, with all its mysteries and enigmas, is far more than we ever imagined. And yet, despite the wealth of information we have uncovered, there is still so much that remains beyond our grasp. The Baghdad battery may only be a small piece of the puzzle, but it is a reminder of how much we have yet to learn. It challenges our assumptions about the past, forcing us to question what we think we know. And as we continue to search for answers, we are reminded that history is not a static thing. It is a living, breathing entity, constantly shifting and changing as new discoveries are made. In the end, the Baghdad battery serves as both a question and a clue. A question about what ancient civilizations knew and what we have yet to understand. And a clue, perhaps the first in a long series of discoveries, that suggests the ancient world was far more advanced than we have given it credit for. It is an invitation to look deeper, to challenge the boundaries of our knowledge, and to wonder, always, what other mysteries lie just beneath the surface of time. The Antikythera mechanism, often referred to as the world's first analog computer, stands as one of the most enigmatic and profound discoveries of ancient engineering. Discovered in 1901 in the remains of a sunken ship off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera, this ancient device has captivated the imagination of scientists, historians, and engineers alike. Its intricate design, unparalleled in its time, reveals a level of mechanical sophistication that seems entirely out of place for an era when human civilization was still in the throes of early development. For centuries, the story of the Antikythera mechanism has challenged our understanding of ancient technology and forced us to reconsider the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The device itself is a marvel, an assemblage of gears, dials, and inscriptions, all housed within a small wooden frame. At first glance, it resembles nothing more than a collection of rusted metal fragments, scarcely recognizable as anything of significance. But as researchers began to carefully piece the fragments together, the true nature of the device slowly emerged. The Antikythera mechanism, it seemed, was not merely a relic. It was a sophisticated analog computer, capable of predicting astronomical events with remarkable accuracy. The complexity of the Antikythera mechanism's design is staggering. It contains a series of gears, many of them interlocking, which would have enabled it to track the movements of the sun, the moon, and the planets. The device could calculate the positions of celestial bodies, predict eclipses, and even mark the timing of the ancient Olympic Games. The fact that such a device was created by the ancient Greeks, long before the advent of modern technology, is nothing short of astonishing. It suggests that they possessed a level of knowledge and engineering skill far beyond what we typically associate with their time. What makes the Antikythera mechanism all the more remarkable is that there was no other known device of its kind from that period. For centuries, historians and scientists assumed that the ancient Greeks had no access to such advanced technology. The mechanical ingenuity required to create such a device seemed to belong to a much later period in history. And yet, here it was, an ancient artifact that defied all expectations, a mechanical marvel that existed centuries before the development of similar devices in the Renaissance. Theories abound regarding the purpose of the Antikythera mechanism. Some believe it was a sophisticated astronomical calculator, used by ancient astronomers to chart the movements of the heavens and predict celestial events. Others argue that it may have been a religious or ceremonial tool, used to mark the passage of time or to align sacred rituals with celestial cycles. There are also those who suggest that it may have been used for educational purposes, as a teaching device to demonstrate the motions of the stars and planets. But whatever its original purpose, there is no denying that the Antikythera mechanism is a testament to the advanced understanding of astronomy and mechanical engineering that existed in ancient Greece. In many ways, the Antikythera mechanism challenges our understanding of ancient history. For centuries, the prevailing belief was that ancient civilizations were rudimentary in their technological capabilities, especially when compared to the advancements of modern science. Yet, the discovery of this device forces us to reconsider that assumption. It suggests that ancient cultures were far more sophisticated than we have given them credit for, and that they may have possessed technologies and knowledge that were lost to time. The question, then, becomes not whether ancient civilizations were capable of such feats of engineering, but why such knowledge disappeared. If the Antikythera mechanism was indeed a product of ancient Greek ingenuity, what happened to the knowledge and technology that went into its creation? Why was such a remarkable device not replicated or built upon in the centuries that followed? Was it the result of a lost civilization, or simply a fleeting moment of brilliance that was not to be repeated? This question lies at the heart of the mystery of the Antikythera mechanism. The device represents a lost chapter in the story of human civilization, an instance where technology advanced to a degree that was not sustained. It forces us to grapple with the idea that the history of human progress is not a straight line, but a series of peaks and valleys, where knowledge can be gained and lost in the blink of an eye. It is a reminder that the past is far more complex and unpredictable than we often think. There is something deeply unsettling about the idea that ancient civilizations may have been capable of such feats of engineering, yet that knowledge was somehow lost, forgotten, or destroyed. It raises uncomfortable questions about the fragility of human progress and the possibility that much of what we know today could one day be lost as well. The Antikythera mechanism, in its quiet existence, reminds us of the impermanence of human knowledge and the ways in which the advancements of one age can be swept away by the currents of time. Yet, at the same time, the discovery of the Antikythera mechanism also invites a sense of awe. It challenges us to look beyond the limitations of our own time and to imagine a world where ancient peoples were capable of creating such extraordinary devices. It encourages us to rethink our assumptions about the past and to embrace the mystery of the unknown. For in the discovery of such artifacts, we are not merely learning about the technology of ancient civilizations. We are learning about ourselves, about the potential for human creativity, and about the enduring power of curiosity. In the years since the Antikythera mechanism was uncovered, much has been learned about its purpose and design. Researchers have used modern technology, including X-ray imaging and 3D scanning, to examine the device in greater detail. These advancements have allowed us to reconstruct the gears and mechanisms within the device, providing a clearer picture of how it might have functioned. But even with these modern tools, there is still much we do not understand about the Antikythera mechanism. There are still unanswered questions about its origins, its creators, and its ultimate fate. What the Antikythera mechanism represents is not just an ancient artifact, but a key to a deeper understanding of the ancient world. It is a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the people who built it, and a reminder of the mysteries that still await us. In its intricate gears and precise calculations, we see a reflection of the human desire to understand the universe, to chart the stars, and to uncover the hidden laws that govern the world. It speaks to the timeless quest for knowledge and the enduring curiosity that has driven humanity forward, from the ancient Greeks to the present day. And so, as we gaze upon the fragments of the Antikythera mechanism, we are reminded that the mysteries of the past are not always as far removed from us as they may seem. The knowledge and achievements of ancient civilizations continue to shape our world, and as we continue to unravel their secrets, we may find that the line between past and present is not as distinct as we once thought. The Voynich manuscript, an ancient text that has baffled scholars, linguists, and cryptographers for centuries, holds within its pages an enigma that seems to defy all logic and reason. Discovered in 1912 by a rare book dealer named Wilfred Voynich, the manuscript is a curious and captivating object. Its pages are filled with strange, indecipherable writing and illustrations of plants, astronomical symbols, and human figures, many of which do not correspond to any known language or culture. Despite numerous attempts by experts from around the world, the Voynich manuscript remains an unsolved puzzle, an artifact from the past that continues to elude understanding. At first glance, the manuscript seems to be a beautifully illustrated book with detailed images of plants, some real and others entirely fantastical. The drawings are meticulous, each leaf, flower, and stem rendered with precision and care. Yet, there is no known system of classification that matches the plants depicted within its pages. Some appear to be entirely imaginary, while others resemble plants from distant parts of the world, many of which were not even discovered by Western botanists at the time the manuscript was created. This raises the first of many questions. Where did these plants come from? Were they known to the author of the manuscript? Or were they products of a fevered imagination? Alongside the botanical illustrations are strange, cryptic symbols that form the manuscript's text. The script is unlike any known language, and no one has been able to definitively decode it. Some scholars have argued that it may be a hoax, a clever forgery designed to confuse and mystify, but there is little evidence to support this theory. The manuscript's vellum pages show signs of age, and the ink appears to be consistent with the materials used in the early 15th century. Its origins are as mysterious as the text itself. The most intriguing aspect of the Voynich manuscript, however, is the writing. The script is a flowing series of characters that seem to follow their own grammatical rules, but no one has been able to link the text to any known language, whether ancient or modern. Over the years, numerous cryptographers and linguists have attempted to crack the code, using everything from mathematical algorithms to artificial intelligence, but all efforts have come up short. The manuscript's language remains as impenetrable as the day it was first discovered. Theories about the purpose of the Voynich manuscript abound, each one more speculative than the last. Some have suggested that it is an alchemical or medical text filled with esoteric knowledge about the natural world, the human body, or the cosmos. Others have proposed that it is a work of magic or mysticism, a guide to secret rituals and occult knowledge. Still others have argued that it is a religious text, perhaps a lost scripture from an ancient civilization or a heretical manuscript that was suppressed by the church. But despite the myriad theories, the true purpose of the Voynich manuscript remains unknown, and it continues to be a source of fascination and frustration for those who seek to unlock its secrets. One of the most compelling aspects of the manuscript is its persistent mystery. Unlike other ancient texts that have been deciphered or understood over time, the Voynich manuscript has resisted all attempts at interpretation. It exists as an island unto itself, disconnected from the historical narrative that we have constructed around other ancient texts. It is as though the manuscript is not simply a relic of the past, but a message from a time and place that we have yet to fully comprehend. In a sense, the Voynich manuscript represents a challenge to the very idea of historical knowledge. It suggests that there are aspects of the past that are simply beyond our grasp, mysteries that refuse to be solved no matter how hard we try. It forces us to confront the limitations of our understanding and to acknowledge that there are still gaps in the historical record that may never be filled. It is a reminder that, for all our advances in science, technology, and scholarship, there are still things that remain inexplicable and unknown. The manuscript also raises questions about the nature of knowledge itself. What is it that makes something knowable? And what happens when we encounter something that refuses to be understood? In our quest to understand the past, we often assume that all mysteries can be solved, all puzzles unraveled. But the Voynich manuscript challenges this assumption. It stands as a testament to the fact that not all knowledge is meant to be understood. Some things, it seems, are destined to remain mysteries forever. There's a certain poetry in this idea that some secrets are meant to remain hidden, their meanings lost to time. The Voynich manuscript, with its strange symbols and mysterious illustrations, invites us into a world where the boundaries between knowledge and mystery blur. It is a reminder that the pursuit of understanding is not always about finding answers, but about embracing the unknown, about accepting that there will always be things we cannot explain. Despite its unyielding mystery, the Voynich manuscript continues to captivate the imagination. It has inspired countless theories, books, and documentaries, all attempting to decode its secrets. Some have even suggested that the manuscript is not a text at all, but a form of art, a work of visual beauty that transcends language. Others believe that it contains hidden messages or prophecies, waiting to be revealed at the right moment. And while the manuscript may never be fully understood, it continues to serve as a reminder of the power of the unknown. In many ways, the Voynich manuscript embodies the eternal struggle between the known and the unknown, the decipherable and the indecipherable. It is a symbol of humanity's unquenchable thirst for knowledge, even in the face of insurmountable odds. And though we may never crack its code, we are left with something perhaps even more valuable, a reminder that not everything needs to be understood. Some mysteries, after all, are meant to remain unsolved. As we reflect on the Voynich manuscript and its many secrets, we are reminded that the pursuit of knowledge is not just about the answers we find, but about the questions that continue to drive us forward. And in that sense, the manuscript remains a beacon, a symbol of the enduring mystery that lies at the heart of human curiosity. Whether or not we ever uncover its true meaning, the Voynich manuscript will continue to stand as one of history's greatest puzzles, a testament to the vastness of the unknown and the enduring allure of the mysteries that await us. The Piri Reis map, an artifact that challenges our understanding of ancient cartography and geographical knowledge, continues to captivate explorers, historians, and scientists. Discovered in 1929 within a collection of Ottoman maps, the Piri Reis map is an exquisitely detailed depiction of the world, drawn in 1513, showing parts of Europe, Africa, and the Americas. What makes this map so extraordinary, however, is not merely its artistic quality or its historical significance, but the fact that it appears to depict the coastline of Antarctica, an area that was not supposed to have been discovered until much later in history. The map itself is a work of art. Its lines are sharp and precise, its details rich and complex. The cartographer, Piri Reis, was a 16th century Ottoman admiral and geographer, and he's thought to have created the map using a combination of sources, some of which were purportedly ancient and lost. These sources allegedly included information from the ancient Egyptians, as well as knowledge passed down through the classical Greek and Roman civilizations. The idea that such ancient civilizations had access to detailed maps of the world, including Antarctica, challenges the conventional timeline of human exploration. The most striking aspect of the Piri Reis map is the way it accurately depicts the South American coastline, with precise details that match up with modern maps of the region. However, the map also features a mysterious and unexpected detail. A portion of the Antarctic coastline, situated in a part of the map that would have been impossible for 16th century cartographers to have known. Antarctica was covered in ice, its coastline invisible to the naked eye, and it would not be discovered by modern explorers until the early 19th century. Yet, the Piri Reis map clearly depicts this frozen landmass, and its portrayal is eerily accurate. This anomaly has puzzled scholars for centuries. How could Piri Reis, a man living in the 16th century, have known about the contours of Antarctica? Some have suggested that the map is simply a work of imagination, a product of artistic license, or an attempt to create an idealized representation of the world. Others argue that it was based on more accurate, lost sources, maps created by ancient civilizations that had access to advanced geographical knowledge long before modern science. If this is the case, it raises profound questions about the extent of ancient knowledge and the possibility that civilizations existed long before a conventional understanding of history. The Piri Reis map is not the only historical artifact to suggest that ancient peoples may have had access to lost knowledge of the world. In fact, The idea that ancient civilizations possessed advanced geographical knowledge has been a recurring theme in the study of ancient history. The ancient Egyptians, for example, are often credited with having mapped the world around them with surprising precision. Similarly, the Greeks and Romans were known to have engaged in extensive exploration and geographic study, and they left behind detailed maps that have survived to this day. But the Piri Reis map takes this idea a step further. It suggests that not only did ancient civilizations possess knowledge of the known world, but they may have also had access to knowledge that was lost to time, including the discovery of Antarctica. This opens up the tantalizing possibility that there was once a civilization, or perhaps several, that had a far greater understanding of the world than we have ever imagined. What other secrets might these ancient maps contain? What other geographical locations, long thought to be undiscovered, might have been known to these early explorers? The implications of the Piri Reis map are profound. If ancient civilizations had access to such detailed geographical information, it suggests that the history of human exploration is far more complex than we have been led to believe. It raises the possibility that advanced civilizations existed in the distant past, far earlier than our current historical timeline suggests. These civilizations, according to this theory, may have mapped the world with incredible precision, using knowledge and technology that has been lost to time. What happened to this knowledge? Why was it forgotten? Some believe that the knowledge of ancient civilizations was deliberately suppressed, erased, or destroyed in the wake of wars, natural disasters, or societal collapses. Others argue that it was simply lost over time, as civilizations rose and fell, and knowledge was passed down through oral traditions, only to fade into obscurity. The mystery of the Piri Reis map invites us to question the nature of knowledge itself. What does it mean to know something? And what happens when that knowledge is lost? The map challenges our understanding of historical progress, suggesting that the history of human exploration is not a simple, linear journey from ignorance to knowledge, but a more intricate, cyclical process. It invites us to consider the possibility that there are gaps in our understanding of the past, gaps that may never be filled. For those who believe in the theory of lost civilizations, the Piri Reis map serves as a tantalizing piece of evidence. It suggests that ancient cultures were capable of creating maps and recording geographical information with a level of precision that we did not think possible. And it raises the question, if these civilizations had such advanced knowledge, what other discoveries might they have made? What other technologies might they have created, only for them to be lost in the annals of time? As we reflect on the Piri Reis map, we are confronted with the humbling realization that the history of our world is far more complicated than we could have imagined. The idea that ancient peoples possessed knowledge of the world beyond their time challenges everything we know about the progression of human civilization. It forces us to confront the limitations of our own understanding and to question the narrative we have constructed about the past. And yet, the mystery of the Piri Reis map also offers hope. It suggests that there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered, mysteries that may never be solved but will continue to intrigue and inspire future generations. It is a reminder that the past is not a closed book, but a living, breathing entity, one that is still unfolding and revealing itself to those who are willing to look beyond the surface and ask the hard questions. The map may never fully explain its origins, nor will we likely uncover all the secrets it holds. But in its mystery, it speaks to something deeper, the eternal human quest to understand our place in the world, to chart the unknown, and to uncover the hidden truths of history. The Piri Reis map, with its strange and fascinating depiction of the world, is a symbol of that quest, a reminder that the mysteries of the past are not just relics to be studied, but questions to be pondered and challenges to be embraced. The Nazca lines, etched into the desert floor of southern Peru, are among the most enigmatic and awe-inspiring mysteries of the ancient world. These massive geoglyphs, some of which stretch over 1,000 feet in length, are so vast that their full scope cannot be appreciated from the ground. It is only when viewed from the sky, an ability that ancient cultures could not have had, that their true scale and purpose come into focus. The question that lingers, however, is why these intricate, vast designs were created in the first place. What purpose did they serve, and how could a civilization so long ago have conceived and executed such monumental works? The Nazca lines are a series of geometric shapes, animals, and figures that cover an area of about 50 square kilometers. Among the most famous of these figures are the stylized depictions of animals, such as the hummingbird, spider, monkey, and whale. These images are so large and precise that it is difficult to comprehend how they could have been created without aerial observation. The lines themselves are made by removing the top layer of reddish stones, exposing the lighter, more durable ground beneath. In some places, they are shallow grooves, while in others, they are deeper, creating a lasting contrast with the surrounding desert. The sheer size and precision of the Nazca lines have led to numerous theories about their purpose. Some have suggested that the lines were an astronomical calendar, a tool used to track the movements of celestial bodies. Others argue that they may have been part of a religious or ceremonial practice, perhaps created to please the gods or to mark pathways for pilgrimage. Still, others contend that the lines may have served a more practical purpose, perhaps related to water management or irrigation, key elements for survival in the arid Nazca Desert. Yet, despite these theories, no definitive answer has been found. The fact that the lines can only be fully appreciated from the air raises the question of how an ancient civilization, without access to flight, could have conceived of such vast designs. While it is clear that the Nazca people had a sophisticated understanding of geometry and engineering, the logistics of planning and executing such enormous figures remain a mystery. How did they plan such intricate designs with such accuracy? And how did they manage to maintain these vast lines over centuries without the ability to survey the land from above? One of the most perplexing aspects of the Nazca lines is the possibility that their creators may have had knowledge of aerial perspectives, a concept that would not be realized again until modern times. The idea that an ancient culture, without any known form of flight, could create designs so perfectly suited to be seen from the sky challenges our understanding of what ancient civilizations were capable of. Could it be that the Nazca people had some form of aerial observation, perhaps through a means we do not yet understand or have yet to uncover? Or, perhaps more tantalizingly, could they have been recipients of knowledge passed down from an even more ancient civilization, one that possessed knowledge far ahead of its time? Theories about the purpose of the Nazca lines abound, but one of the most intriguing ideas is that they were created for religious or spiritual reasons. The lines may have served as a form of communication with the gods, a way to send messages to the heavens, or to align sacred rituals with the stars. This theory is supported by the fact that some of the figures on the ground are thought to correspond to constellations or celestial bodies. The Nazca people may have believed that the gods watched over them from the sky, and that by creating these massive geoglyphs, they were creating pathways for communication, inviting divine attention or guidance. The connection between the Nazca lines and astronomy is undeniable. Some of the lines appear to align with the positions of the sun, moon, and stars during key times of the year. One of the most famous alignments is that of the spider figure, which seems to point toward the rising sun at a specific time of year. Other figures seem to align with the solstices or equinoxes, reinforcing the idea that the lines were used to track celestial movements. In this way, the Nazca people may have used the lines as a tool for understanding the cosmos, tying their daily lives to the cycles of the universe. Yet, while the astronomical theories are compelling, they do not fully explain the scale and complexity of the Nazca lines. If the lines were created for religious or astronomical purposes, why were they so large and difficult to observe? And why, if the lines were intended for gods or celestial beings, were they constructed in such a way that they could only be appreciated by those on the ground and not by any observer from the heavens? The purpose of the Nazca lines, as with many other ancient artifacts, remains an elusive mystery that continues to fascinate and frustrate. The Nazca lines are also a testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Nazca people. The process of creating the lines required an extraordinary level of planning and organization. Given the vast size of the figures, it is likely that the construction of the lines required the efforts of many individuals working together over a long period of time. The people who built the Nazca lines had to carefully consider the geography of the land, ensuring that the lines were constructed with the necessary precision. They had to use basic tools and techniques, yet they were able to create works of such scale that they have withstood the test of time. One theory that adds a further layer of intrigue to the Nazca lines is the idea that they were used in rituals that involve human sacrifice. Some researchers have suggested that the lines may have been a part of a larger ceremonial complex, in which individuals or groups would be led along the lines in a ritualistic procession. This theory is bolstered by the discovery of large ceremonial areas in the Nazca region, as well as evidence of sacrificial practices. In this context, the Nazca lines may have served as sacred pathways leading participants to places of worship or sacrifice, reinforcing the idea that the lines had a deep spiritual or religious significance. As we look at the Nazca lines today, we are reminded of the power of mystery. The lines, still etched into the desert after centuries of exposure to the elements, continue to speak to us of the ancient past. They challenge our assumptions about what ancient civilizations were capable of, and they invite us to look beyond the known and into the unknown. The question of why the Nazca lines were created may never be fully answered, but in their mystery, they serve as a testament to the creativity, vision, and complexity of the people who created them. In that sense, they are not just geographical features, but cultural landmarks that continue to provoke thought and wonder. In the end, the Nazca lines serve as a reminder that not all mysteries need to be solved. The questions they raise are as important as the answers we seek. They speak to a time when the world was still full of unknowns, when the boundaries between the known and the unknown were not as firmly drawn as they are today. And in their vast, mysterious beauty, they continue to inspire awe and curiosity, reminding us that the mysteries of the past are never truly lost. They are simply waiting to be rediscovered. The crystal skulls are objects that seem to belong more to the realm of myth than to history. Yet, despite their mysterious and somewhat mystical reputation, they exist in physical form, held in collections across the world. These perfectly crafted skulls, made of solid quartz crystal, are so striking in their detail and artistry that they almost seem too perfect to be the work of ancient hands. But it's the unknown origins of these skulls, as well as the unexplainable precision with which they were carved, that has intrigued and mystified scholars, archaeologists, and enthusiasts for over a century. There are several famous crystal skulls, each with its own unique history and lore. The most well-known of these is the so-called Mitchell-Hedges skull, named after its discoverer, adventurer, and archaeologist F. A. Mitchell-Hedges. This skull was allegedly found in the ruins of a Mayan temple in Belize in the 1920s by Mitchell-Hedges' daughter, Anna. The skull itself is a beautifully carved piece of clear quartz, resembling the shape of a human skull with remarkable precision. The craftsmanship is so advanced that even modern scientists have struggled to replicate the level of detail found in this artifact. The face of the skull is perfectly symmetrical, and the teeth and facial features are so finely carved that they appear to be almost lifelike. Some have claimed that the skull has supernatural properties, even alleging that it has the power to heal, communicate with spirits, or reveal hidden truths about the past. Despite its fame, the origins of the Mitchell-Hedges skull remain shrouded in mystery. Some believe it was created by the ancient Maya, as it was found in a region where Mayan civilization flourished. Others argue that it is much older and may have come from a civilization that predates the Maya by millennia. There are even those who suggest that it may be the work of extraterrestrial beings, created with technology far beyond the capabilities of any known ancient civilization. The idea that the crystal skulls were crafted by ancient cultures using advanced tools and techniques that have been lost to time is one of the central mysteries surrounding these objects. What makes the crystal skulls even more intriguing is the fact that they all seem to be made from a type of quartz crystal that is found in only a few places on Earth. The quartz used in the skulls is of an exceptional clarity, with no obvious cracks or imperfections, suggesting that the creators had access to a level of knowledge and skill in working with a material that is difficult to explain. In modern times, working with quartz crystal to create such detailed objects requires specialized equipment, including diamond-tipped tools. Yet no evidence has been found to suggest that the ancient peoples who allegedly created the skulls had access to such technology. The process of creating a crystal skull, especially one as detailed as the Mitchell-Hedges skull, would have been an incredibly difficult task. The quartz is hard, and shaping it into a smooth, lifelike object requires a precision that would be challenging even with modern tools. In the case of the Mitchell-Hedges skull, it is believed that the carving was done with basic stone tools, although how this could have been achieved remains a matter of debate. Some skeptics believe that the skull was carved with modern tools in the 19th or 20th centuries, and that the mystery surrounding its origin was fabricated to add an aura of mysticism and intrigue. However, the lack of definitive evidence for either theory leaves the mystery intact. Interestingly, the crystal skulls are not just limited to one piece or region. There are several other skulls that have been discovered in various parts of the world, each with its own set of mysteries and questions. One such skull is the British Museum skull, which is smaller and slightly less refined than the Mitchell-Hedges skull, but is still an impressive work of craftsmanship. Another skull, known as the Smithsonian skull, was found in the early 20th century and is said to have been discovered in a cave in Mexico. Despite being less famous than the Mitchell-Hedges skull, this skull has garnered attention for its intricacy and the mystery surrounding its origins. The fact that so many of these crystal skulls exist, scattered across the world, only deepens the enigma. Some researchers have pointed out the striking resemblance between the crystal skulls and the depictions of skulls found in various cultures' mythologies and iconography. The skull is a symbol of death and the afterlife in many ancient traditions, and it's possible that the creation of these crystal skulls was meant to represent spiritual or ritualistic beliefs. In some Mesoamerican cultures, skulls were used in religious ceremonies, particularly in relation to death and rebirth. The crystal skulls, with their otherworldly appearance and symbolic associations, may have been created for such ceremonial purposes, meant to honor ancestors, facilitate communication with the spirit world, or serve as a symbol of life after death. The connection to spiritual or mystical powers is a key element of the lore surrounding the crystal skulls. Many modern enthusiasts and proponents of the crystal skull phenomenon believe that these objects possess special powers, often claiming that they can amplify energy, enhance spiritual insight, or even provide a channel for communication with extraterrestrial beings. Some argue that the skulls are part of an ancient knowledge system, perhaps even a lost technology that was hidden or suppressed by ancient societies. In this view, the crystal skulls represent an advanced understanding of the universe, an understanding that was either lost over time or concealed to prevent its misuse. The idea that the crystal skulls hold some kind of mysterious power has fueled their allure in popular culture, particularly in films, books, and conspiracy theories. The most famous example is the Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull film, which presents an entire storyline revolving around the mystical powers of the crystal skulls. While the film is, of course, fictional, it has contributed to the enduring mystery and fascination with these objects in modern times. Despite all the mystery and intrigue surrounding them, it's important to acknowledge that the crystal skulls may simply be artifacts of ancient craftsmanship, whose true purpose was something we may never fully understand. Like so many other historical artifacts, their meaning may have been lost to time, their creators' intentions clouded by the ages. The mystery of the crystal skulls, however, persists as they continue to capture our imaginations and challenge our understanding of the past. In the end, the crystal skulls remain an enduring symbol of the unknown, a reminder that there are still things in our world that defy explanation. Whether they were created for ceremonial, artistic, or mystical purposes, their exact origins and functions remain unclear. And yet, they continue to spark wonder, speculation, and intrigue, offering a tantalizing glimpse into a past that we have only begun to comprehend. The Baghdad Battery, discovered in the 1930s near the ruins of an ancient city close to Baghdad, Iraq, is a curious and mysterious object that has fascinated archaeologists and historians alike. This small clay jar containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod appears to be a simple, crude artifact until one considers its possible function. Some believe that it could have been an ancient form of a battery, capable of storing and producing electricity, which raises the intriguing question: did ancient civilizations possess knowledge of electricity long before modern science discovered it? The Baghdad Battery consists of a ceramic jar, about 5 inches tall, which contains a copper cylinder and an iron rod. The jar is sealed with asphalt, which may have been used to create an airtight seal. The design of the jar suggests that it was intended to hold some sort of liquid, as there are no obvious electrodes or wires attached to the copper and iron components. However, when researchers conducted tests on the jar using an acidic solution, they discovered that a small electrical current could be generated. This has led to speculation that the artifact was indeed used as a rudimentary battery, perhaps for electroplating or other electrical purposes. The idea that ancient cultures could have harnessed electricity is a controversial one. Most modern historians and archaeologists believe that the Baghdad Battery was not intended to function as a battery, but rather had another, more mundane purpose. Some suggest that it may have been a simple jar used for storage, with the copper and iron components being part of a different mechanical system altogether. Others argue that it may have been a part of a larger ritual or ceremonial object, with the copper and iron components serving symbolic purposes rather than functional ones. Yet, despite the skepticism surrounding its true purpose, the possibility that the Baghdad Battery was an ancient form of electrical technology is an intriguing one. If ancient civilizations possessed the knowledge and tools to create such a device, it would suggest that they were far more advanced than we typically give them credit for. It would also raise questions about what other forms of ancient technology have been lost to time, hidden beneath the sands of history, waiting to be rediscovered. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence in favor of the idea that the Baghdad Battery was a form of electricity storage is the fact that similar devices have been discovered in other ancient cultures. For example, in Egypt, archaeologists have found images of what appear to be early forms of electrical devices, including depictions of light bulbs and other electrical technologies. Some have even suggested that the ancient Egyptians had access to forms of electrical knowledge, possibly even using electricity for illumination in their tombs or temples. The idea that ancient civilizations may have possessed advanced electrical knowledge challenges our assumptions about the linear progression of human technology. We often think of the discovery of electricity as a relatively recent phenomenon, something that emerged with the work of scientists like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Edison. Yet the existence of the Baghdad Battery suggests that ancient peoples may have had a rudimentary understanding of electrical principles long before the dawn of modern science. Of course, there are many who remain skeptical of this theory. Some argue that the Baghdad Battery was simply a simple, mundane object, perhaps a container for scrolls or a piece of religious equipment, and that the notion of it being a battery is a misinterpretation. Critics point out that there is no clear evidence that the battery was ever used in a practical way, and that the electrical current generated by the device is too small to have served any significant purpose. They also note that there is no written record or documentation from ancient cultures that mentions the use of electricity or similar devices. Yet, the mystery of the Baghdad Battery remains. The possibility that ancient civilizations had a knowledge of electricity that has been lost to time is an unsettling thought. It forces us to reconsider the history of human progress and the possibility that we have lost entire chapters of knowledge, buried beneath centuries of decay and destruction. Could it be that the ancients had technology that was lost or deliberately hidden? And if so, what else have we overlooked in the archaeological record? The idea that ancient peoples may have had access to technologies far beyond what we think is possible is not confined to the Baghdad Battery. There are numerous examples of artifacts and structures that suggest advanced knowledge and engineering. For example, the Great Pyramids of Egypt, which were constructed with an accuracy and precision that seems almost impossible given the tools available at the time. Or the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient analog computer used to predict astronomical events, as we saw earlier. These and many other examples challenge the conventional narrative of technological progress, suggesting that there may have been advanced civilizations or knowledge that we have yet to fully comprehend. Whether or not the Baghdad battery was truly an ancient form of electrical technology, it serves as a reminder of how much we still don't know about the past. The object itself, though seemingly simple, raises profound questions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. If they were capable of creating such devices, what other secrets have we yet to uncover? The Baghdad battery also invites us to reflect on the nature of discovery itself. Often, what we perceive as a breakthrough or an invention is simply the rediscovery of knowledge that has been forgotten or lost. The history of science and technology is filled with instances of ancient knowledge being rediscovered in the modern era. It is entirely possible that the Baghdad battery is one such example, an ancient technology that was lost to history, only to be found again in the 20th century. The idea that there may be other such discoveries waiting to be uncovered adds a sense of mystery and wonder to our understanding of the past. In the end, the Baghdad battery remains a mystery, a small, simple artifact that challenges our assumptions about ancient knowledge and technology. Whether it was a rudimentary battery or simply a mundane object, it serves as a reminder that the history of humanity is far more complex than we often realize. There may be knowledge hidden in the ruins of ancient civilizations, waiting to be rediscovered. The Baghdad battery, with its enigmatic design and potential function, is just one small piece of the puzzle, a puzzle that continues to intrigue and mystify us as we attempt to unravel the secrets of the past. The Antikythera mechanism is one of the most remarkable artifacts from the ancient world, often referred to as the first known analog computer. Discovered in 1901 by sponge divers off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera, this device has baffled scientists and archaeologists for over a century. It is composed of a complex series of gears and cogs, housed within a wooden frame, and is believed to have been used for astronomical calculations, including predicting the positions of celestial bodies and eclipses. What makes the Antikythera mechanism so extraordinary is that its level of mechanical sophistication seems far ahead of its time, suggesting that the ancient Greeks may have possessed technological knowledge that would not be rediscovered until the Industrial Revolution, more than a millennium later. The device itself is a small, corroded, and fragmented object, but thanks to modern technology, researchers have been able to reconstruct much of its original structure. The mechanism consists of at least 30 bronze gears, each intricately interlocked to create a complex system that could track the movements of the sun, moon, and planets. The gears are arranged with such precision that it was initially impossible to believe that such an advanced piece of technology could have existed over 2,000 years ago. The Antikythera mechanism was not only capable of tracking the solar and lunar cycles, but also had the ability to predict eclipses and calculate the timing of the ancient Olympic Games. These features indicate a deep understanding of both astronomy and mechanical engineering, knowledge that at the time of its creation should have been beyond the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The purpose of the Antikythera mechanism has been the subject of much debate. Some believe that it was used as a form of astronomical calendar or observatory, helping ancient astronomers track the cycles of the heavens and predict celestial events. Others argue that it may have had a more practical function, perhaps serving as a tool for navigation or for the creation of agricultural calendars. It is also possible that the device had a religious or ceremonial role, aligning itself with the ancient Greeks' fascination with the cosmos and their belief in the influence of celestial events on human life. What is perhaps most striking about the Antikythera mechanism is the fact that it is unlike anything else found in the ancient world. There are no other known devices from antiquity that combine such intricate mechanical engineering with a clear astronomical purpose. While the Greeks had a sophisticated understanding of geometry, mathematics, and astronomy, The level of technological advancement demonstrated by the Antikythera mechanism suggests that they may have had access to knowledge or techniques that have been lost to history. The very existence of such a device forces us to reconsider the history of science and technology. How could a civilization that existed long before the advent of modern machinery or engineering create a device so far ahead of its time? Was this knowledge passed down from an even earlier civilization, one whose technological advances were lost to the sands of time? The advanced nature of the Antikythera mechanism is made even more perplexing by the fact that it was found on a shipwreck. The ship that carried the mechanism was likely a trading vessel, and it is thought to have been wrecked around the 1st century BCE. If the device was created in the 2nd century BCE, as most experts believe, it suggests that the ancient world may have been more connected and technologically advanced than we typically imagine. The notion that such sophisticated technology could be found on a trade ship challenges the conventional understanding of ancient technology, implying that the knowledge to build such machines was widely disseminated across the Mediterranean world, or perhaps even further. Some researchers have even suggested that the Antikythera mechanism may have been part of a broader tradition of lost technology, a kind of forgotten engineering that was once common but gradually disappeared over the centuries. There are other ancient devices, such as the Baghdad battery or the so-called Pyramid of the Sun in Bosnia, that suggest the possibility of advanced technological knowledge that was lost to history. It is possible that the Greeks were part of a larger network of ancient civilizations that shared a sophisticated understanding of mechanics and astronomy, only for this knowledge to be slowly forgotten or suppressed as societies collapsed and new technologies emerged. The rediscovery of the Antikythera mechanism has sparked a renewed interest in the study of ancient technology and has led to the development of new theories about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Some believe that the mechanism is evidence of a golden age of technological development, a time when humanity was on the brink of great scientific and mechanical breakthroughs. Yet, despite the sophistication of the Antikythera mechanism, there is no evidence that similar devices were created elsewhere in the ancient world. This raises further questions about the extent to which ancient cultures understood the principles of mechanics and astronomy, and whether there was a broader tradition of technological knowledge that has been lost to the ravages of time. In some ways, the Antikythera mechanism represents a kind of technological anomaly, an outlier in the historical record that challenges our understanding of the progress of human invention. It invites us to rethink the trajectory of technological development, suggesting that the ancient world may have been far more advanced in certain areas than we have given it credit for. Perhaps the ancient Greeks were not the only civilization to have discovered such advanced technology. Perhaps there were others who shared this knowledge, only for it to be lost or erased by the passage of time. Moreover, the mystery of the Antikythera mechanism also invites us to reflect on the limitations of our modern understanding. We often assume that progress is linear, that each new discovery builds on the one before it, leading us steadily toward the technological marvels of the present day. Yet, the Antikythera mechanism suggests that this assumption may be flawed. There may have been periods in history when knowledge was lost or forgotten, and when ancient civilizations had access to technologies that we have only just begun to rediscover. The mechanism, in its complexity and mystery, challenges us to think more deeply about the nature of knowledge, discovery, and technological progress. In the end, the Antikythera mechanism remains a symbol of humanity's quest to understand the cosmos and our place within it. It is a reminder that there is much about the ancient world that we still do not know, and that the history of human achievement is far more intricate and multifaceted than we often realize. The device's ability to predict celestial events, track the movement of the planets, and calculate the timing of the Olympic Games shows the remarkable ingenuity of the ancient Greeks, and perhaps hints at a more profound and forgotten legacy of technological brilliance. Whether we ever uncover the full story behind the Antikythera mechanism, it will undoubtedly continue to inspire awe and wonder for generations to come. The Sacsayhuaman ruins, located near Cusco in Peru, remain one of the most puzzling and awe-inspiring archaeological sites in the world. The massive stone walls, constructed from huge blocks of rock that fit together so precisely that even a piece of paper cannot slip between them, have defied explanation for centuries. The precision with which these stones were cut and transported is a testament to the advanced engineering and architectural knowledge of the ancient Andean people. Yet, despite being studied for centuries, the true methods used to construct this formidable structure remain a mystery. Who built it? How did they transport and shape the massive stones? And why did they go to such great lengths to create such a monumental structure? The Sacsayhuaman walls consist of massive limestone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, stacked in a seemingly perfect alignment. The stones are so tightly fitted that there is no mortar used in the construction. The precision with which these blocks fit together is so remarkable that modern engineers have yet to replicate such a technique, even with modern machinery. The idea that ancient civilizations could have built such a structure without the aid of modern technology raises numerous questions about the capabilities of the people who constructed it. Was it the work of the Inca Empire, or could it have been the remnants of an even older civilization, one with advanced knowledge that has been lost to time? The construction of Sacsayhuaman is particularly puzzling because of the sheer scale of the site. It is not just a collection of small structures, but an enormous complex with walls that stretch for hundreds of meters. The blocks are not only large, but they are also irregularly shaped, yet they fit together with such precision that it is almost impossible to see where one block ends and the next begins. The blocks vary in size, shape, and weight, and yet they are all placed with such remarkable accuracy that they form a continuous, seamless surface. The question arises, how could the ancient builders have achieved such precision without modern tools? One of the most mysterious aspects of Sacsayhuaman is the method of transporting these enormous stones. The site is located in the Andes Mountains, far from any known quarry that could provide such massive blocks. Modern theories suggest that the stones were quarried at nearby sites and then transported using a combination of rolling logs, ramps, and human labor. However, no one knows for sure how the ancient builders managed to move such massive stones over the rough, mountainous terrain. Given the weight of the stones, some of which are believed to weigh as much as 100 tons, it seems unlikely that the Inca, with their primitive tools and technology, could have moved them with the same ease that modern machinery can. Some researchers have suggested that the stones may have been carved and shaped in place, meaning the builders didn't actually need to move the stones from a distant quarry. Instead, they could have cut and shaped the stones on site, using rudimentary tools like copper chisels or stone hammers. However, this theory doesn't explain how the stones could have been made to fit together so perfectly, or how the builders could have achieved such precise angles and curves without the benefit of advanced engineering techniques. Another theory that has been proposed is that the ancient builders may have had access to a type of lost technology that allowed them to move and shape the stones more easily. This theory is based on the idea that ancient civilizations may have possessed knowledge that was far more advanced than we realize. Some believe that the builders of Sacsayhuaman were able to use sound or vibration to manipulate the stones, a theory that is supported by the fact that some ancient structures around the world, including those in Egypt and other parts of South America, seem to have been constructed using similar techniques. Could it be that ancient civilizations had access to a form of technology that allowed them to move and shape stone in ways that are beyond our understanding today? There are also those who speculate that the stones were somehow levitated or moved using some form of anti-gravity technology. This idea has been explored in various fringe theories and is often tied to the belief that ancient civilizations had access to advanced knowledge from extraterrestrial beings. Proponents of this theory point to the precision and scale of Sacsayhuaman, arguing that the construction of such a site would have been impossible without the aid of advanced technology. While there is no evidence to support the idea that extraterrestrials played a role in the construction of Sacsayhuaman, the theory persists as part of the broader mystery surrounding the site. What adds to the intrigue of Sacsayhuaman is the fact that it was not built for any obvious functional purpose. Unlike other ancient structures, which serve as temples, palaces, or fortifications, Sacsayhuaman appears to have been constructed purely for symbolic or ceremonial reasons. The walls of Sacsayhuaman are thought to have been part of an ancient fortress or ceremonial center, but there is little evidence to suggest that it was ever used for military purposes. The size and complexity of the site suggest that it may have had a religious or spiritual significance, serving as a place of worship or pilgrimage for the ancient Indian peoples. Some even believe that the walls of Sacsayhuaman were built to align with celestial events like solstices or equinoxes, much like other ancient structures around the world, such as Stonehenge or the pyramids of Egypt. The idea that Sacsayhuaman may have had a ceremonial or spiritual purpose is supported by the fact that many other ancient Indian sites, such as Machu Picchu, also seem to have been designed with a deep understanding of astronomy and the cycles of the heavens. The Inca, who are believed to have built the site, had a profound reverence for the sun and the stars, and they used the natural landscape to align their temples and ceremonial centers with the movements of celestial bodies. It is possible that Sacsayhuaman was part of this larger network of astronomical and spiritual sites designed to honor the gods and align the physical world with the cosmos. Despite centuries of research, the mystery of Sacsayhuaman remains unsolved. The exact methods used to construct the site, the true purpose behind its creation, and the identity of the builders remain elusive. The precision and scale of the stonework continue to baffle engineers and archaeologists, and the lack of clear evidence leaves room for speculation and mystery. Some may argue that the answers are lost to time, buried beneath the layers of history. But Sacsayhuaman continues to inspire wonder and curiosity, reminding us of the ancient people's incredible achievements and the enduring mysteries that remain locked within the stones. The Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is one of the most famous and enduring mysteries in the world. For centuries, the legend of a giant, serpent-like creature inhabiting the depths of Loch Ness in Scotland has captivated the imagination of millions. Sightings, rumors, and photographs have fueled speculation, making Nessie a central figure in the folklore of the Scottish Highlands. Despite numerous investigations, both scientific and anecdotal, there has never been definitive proof of the creature's existence. But what is it about the Loch Ness Monster that continues to intrigue and mystify people from all walks of life, inspiring everything from scientific inquiry to tourist-driven economies? The story of Nessie dates back to ancient times. The earliest written account of a creature in Loch Ness comes from the 6th century, when St. Columba, a Christian missionary, is said to have encountered a water beast while traveling near the loch. According to the story, Columba commanded the beast to retreat, and it did so, vanishing into the depths of the loch. This story, though centuries old, set the stage for the modern legend of Nessie and its place in Scottish folklore. It wasn't until the early 20th century, however, that the Loch Ness Monster became a global phenomenon. In 1933, a couple reported seeing a huge animal moving through the water, sparking the first publicized sighting of the creature. In the years that followed, numerous people came forward with similar accounts of seeing something large and mysterious in the loch. Some claimed to have seen a massive serpent-like creature, while others described something more like a giant, long-necked dinosaur. The most famous piece of evidence to date is the surgeon's photo, taken in 1934, which appears to show a large, dark shape with a long neck emerging from water. Though it was later revealed to be a hoax, the photo further fueled the myth and added to the creature's mystique. The Loch Ness Monster has been the subject of intense scrutiny from both skeptics and believers. Over the decades, scientists have conducted numerous investigations into the possibility of a creature living in Loch Ness. The loch itself, a large freshwater body nestled between hills, is more than 750 feet deep in some areas, creating the perfect conditions for something large and elusive to remain hidden from view. Despite the depth and the relatively murky waters, sonar scans, underwater photography, and even satellite imagery have failed to yield any conclusive evidence of a creature of Nessie's size. In fact, Many of the supposed sightings of the Loch Ness Monster have been attributed to misidentifications of common animals, such as seals, otters, or even large fish. Some researchers believe that the phenomenon could be the result of optical illusions created by the loch's unique geography or weather conditions. Yet, despite these scientific efforts, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster endures. The mystery is compounded by the fact that many people claim to have seen the creature firsthand, sometimes providing detailed descriptions of its behavior or appearance. Over the years, these reports have ranged from simple sightings of a large shadow beneath the water to accounts of a creature rising out of the loch with a long, sinuous neck. The consistency of these reports has led some to believe that there may indeed be something out there, something that science has yet to explain or identify. Part of the ongoing fascination with Nessie lies in the possibility that there is something extraordinary yet to be discovered in the deep, dark waters of Loch Ness. The loch itself is steeped in mystery, and the idea of an undiscovered creature lurking within its depths adds to the allure. There is something primal and compelling about the notion that, in a world so well explored, there are still mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Hidden creatures, lost worlds, and ancient forces beyond human comprehension. The Loch Ness Monster symbolizes this deep-seated yearning for the unknown, the fascination with secrets that remain locked away from the gaze of modern science. For others, the Loch Ness Monster is more a symbol of something far older, a connection to a time when the world was full of wonders and myths, a time when belief in creatures like Nessie was as natural as believing in the gods. There is something magical about the idea of a creature so elusive, so enigmatic, that it seems to belong to a forgotten era. The Loch Ness Monster, in this sense, represents the continuity of mythology and folklore, bridging the gap between ancient belief systems and contemporary curiosity. In a way, Nessie remains as much a part of the landscape as the loch itself, a symbol of the natural world that is imbued with mystery and wonder. The tourist industry surrounding the Loch Ness Monster is another aspect that speaks to its enduring allure. Thousands of people visit Loch Ness each year, hoping to catch a glimpse of the legendary creature or to take part in the mystery. There are boat tours, museums, and even Nessie-themed souvenirs. The Loch Ness Monster has become an icon of Scottish culture, its image appearing on postcards, magnets, and even whiskey bottles. For many, the search for Nessie is not just about uncovering the truth. It's about participating in a long-standing cultural tradition, engaging in a shared mystery that has been passed down through generations. In this sense, the Loch Ness Monster is more than just a creature. It's a symbol of curiosity, of exploration, and of the enduring human need to seek out the unknown. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the Loch Ness Monster has become a part of the collective imagination. It has transcended its origins as a local Scottish legend and taken on global significance. Whether or not it exists, Nessie continues to captivate those who wish to believe in the unexplained. The mystery surrounding the creature serves as a reminder of the limits of human knowledge and the vastness of the natural world, where even the most familiar places can hide their secrets. The Loch Ness Monster, whether fact or fiction, embodies a powerful truth that some mysteries are meant to remain just that, mysteries. Its continued presence in folklore, science, and tourism speaks to humanity's unyielding fascination with the unknown, and it serves as a reminder that, sometimes, the thrill lies not in finding the answers, but in living with the questions. The Pyrie Reis map, discovered in 1929, has puzzled historians and cartographers for nearly a century. This ancient map, created in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer Pyrie Reis, is a partial world map that includes remarkable details about the coastlines of South America, Africa, and even Antarctica. What makes this map so mysterious is not just its accuracy, but the fact that it contains detailed information about parts of the world that were not yet discovered or explored by Europeans at the time. How could Pyrie Reis have had access to such detailed geographical knowledge, especially about Antarctica, which was thought to have been uninhabitable and unknown in the early 16th century? The map is drawn on a piece of parchment made from animal skin, and it is beautifully decorated with intricate borders and illustrations of sea monsters. However, it is the geographical content that has sparked the most debate. The map depicts the coastline of South America with surprising accuracy, and it even shows the northern part of Antarctica, a landmass that would not be officially discovered until centuries later. The most striking feature of the map, however, is the depiction of Antarctica without the thick ice cover that now obscures its coastline. This has led to speculation that the map may be based on ancient, pre-Ice Age knowledge, suggesting that civilizations existed long before recorded history, with a profound understanding of the Earth's geography. For many years, historians and cartographers were puzzled by how Pyre Reis could have obtained such detailed information. Some experts have argued that the map may have been based on earlier, lost maps, perhaps from ancient civilizations that possessed advanced knowledge of the world. It is known that many ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians and the Greeks, were skilled in navigation and had a deep understanding of geography and astronomy. Could it be that these ancient cultures had access to maps that recorded the world with such precision, maps that were later lost or forgotten over time? One of the most popular theories surrounding the Pyre Reis map is that it was based on a collection of earlier maps, some of which may have been of an even earlier pre-Columbian origin. There is evidence to suggest that Pyre Reis consulted several maps when creating his own, including maps created by the ancient Greeks, Egyptians, and even the famous explorer Christopher Columbus. In fact, some researchers believe that the map's depiction of the coastline of South America closely resembles maps created by the early explorers of the New World. But the map's depiction of Antarctica, which was unknown to modern explorers at the time, remains the most perplexing feature. The fact that the map depicts Antarctica without its ice cap has led to the theory that it could be based on ancient knowledge of the Earth, possibly passed down through secret traditions or even preserved by a lost civilization. Some proponents of this theory suggest that ancient civilizations, possibly even those predating recorded history, had a much more advanced understanding of the planet's geography and climate than we have been led to believe. According to this view, the Antarctic ice sheet did not exist in the distant past, and the coastline of Antarctica was open and accessible. This idea is often linked to the notion of lost civilizations, such as Atlantis, which some believe may have had access to knowledge far ahead of its time. While the theory of lost civilizations possessing advanced geographical knowledge remains speculative, there are other, more grounded explanations for the mysteries of the Pyre Reis map. Some historians argue that Pyre Reis may have simply used a variety of available sources, including ancient maps and the accounts of earlier explorers, to create his map. The map may not have been intended to be entirely accurate, but rather a representation of the known world at the time, drawn from the available knowledge of the period. However, the map's astonishing accuracy and the depiction of Antarctica still raise intriguing questions about how much ancient cultures knew about the Earth and its features. Despite the various theories, the Pyre Reis map remains a fascinating enigma. It is a testament to the mystery of historical exploration and the complexity of ancient knowledge. The idea that there could have been civilizations in the distant past with a more sophisticated understanding of geography and the planet's surface challenges many of our assumptions about the linear progression of human knowledge. The map's depiction of Antarctica, free of ice, remains one of the most puzzling aspects, and it continues to inspire speculation about lost ancient knowledge and even the possibility of civilizations that have been erased from history. What is perhaps most remarkable about the Pyre Reis map is its ability to inspire questions that reach beyond the boundaries of history and science. It challenges us to reconsider the gaps in our understanding of the past, to question the conventional narratives of exploration and discovery, and to wonder what other knowledge might have been lost to the ages. The map serves as a reminder that our understanding of the world is constantly evolving, and that sometimes the greatest mysteries are those that remain unresolved. As we continue to explore the map's mysteries, we are confronted with a deeper question: how much of the ancient world's knowledge has been lost to time? Could it be that our modern understanding of history, geography, and science is incomplete, and that there are lost civilizations whose knowledge and achievements have vanished, leaving only enigmatic artifacts like the Pyre Reis map to spark our imagination? As we reach the conclusion of this journey into ancient artifacts, the lingering question remains: how much of our past has been hidden, lost, or forgotten? These strange objects challenge our understanding, reminding us that some mysteries may never be fully explained, leaving us in awe of the unknown, forever seeking answers.